Prepare to attack the enemy's control points.
Get behind me, Doctor!
I am fully charged!
You are listening to Control Point, a Team Fortress 2 podcast with Brent Copeland, Eric Fullerton, Wes Wilson, and Spencer Williams.
Control Point, Episode 2, recorded on October 30th, 2007.
I'm Brent Copeland.
I'm Eric Fullerton.
I'm Wes Wilson.
I'm Spencer Williams. Control Point is just about Team Fortress 2, and that's what we're here to talk about. In case you don't know, Team Fortress 2 is a pretty long-anticipated sequel to an old mod for Quake and Half-Life called Team Fortress. It was in development for about 9 years, went through many design changes. It was on covers of magazines looking one way and then disappeared for years and came back looking entirely different. And basically, in the end, it turned out awesome, so we're here to talk about it.
I saw the Wikipedia article on the history of Team Fortress 2, and it was kind of interesting because they have some screenshots from older versions where they were trying to go very realistic as opposed to the incredible style art they've got now. And it's really kind of interesting because it's like, wow, that would be a really boring game to play.
Yeah.
I remember I picked up, I was a huge Team Fortress fan, and so I was really looking forward to TF2. And I picked up a magazine that it was a cover story of, and the maps were completely different. I remember they had an objective-based map where one team was parachuting in over a base, and it looks nothing like that now. And one of the things about it is it does have this incredible art style that's pretty unique to it.
Yeah, I think for a long time TF2 was dubbed as vaporware because, you know, it took so long to make, just like Duke Forever. It has a huge Duke fan.
Well, it did come out, actually.
But yeah. So
one other interesting thing that I've read up on it is that when they were working on it, I don't know how many of y'all know this, but it was originally a mod for Quake, and then when Valve bought the rights, they made a Team Fortress Classic, which was on the Half-Life engine.
Yeah, basically as a go-between, because they knew it was going to take a while for TF2 to come out.
And so, and Team Fortress 2 was released with the orange box, and I lost my train of thought now. So anyway, let's talk about what we did this week. Brent, what did you do this week?
Oh, let's see. I have this thing where I've been trying to at least play an hour with each class. I'm like, okay, I only have 20 minutes on the spy. I'm going to try to get it up to an hour. Yeah. And then invariably I switch to the other classes I like more. And then they're up to like 3 hours. And I'm like, well, I'll try to get these others that are like an hour and a half up to like 2 hours. And then, so it's all about trying to get all the classes up to whatever my highest classes are, which are Scout and Medic are the two I play the most. So that's what I've been doing mainly. I know, I've been trying a few servers. I've been trying to fix some issues with my client where on my desktop, it crashed all the time. I'd just be playing and it would crash. And usually when I was loading up a map, and I haven't figured out exactly what it is, but if I play in a windowed screen, it doesn't seem to happen nearly as often. So I'm hoping I'm guessing that's part of the issue.
That is really weird. I've never heard of windowing a game helping.
Yeah. Crazy, isn't it? Well, here's the thing. At the same time, I also turned down like all the sound and the video stuff.
Okay.
So
there we go.
That was just one of the multitudes of things that I did to try to fix the issue without, doing one step at a time to actually figure out what it is. I just wanted it to work, and I wanted to play it, so I did everything at once. And then I guess we played on a map the other night that was crazy. It was like basically one big room. Was it Duel Duel or something like that?
The name of it was Duel Duel 2.
And it was nuts.
It was crazy.
It was one big room with two small rooms off the end where you started.
It wasn't even that big of a room.
No.
It's a very moderate-sized room with two spawn points, one on either side. And basically your team pops, you come up in a box, they're in a box on the other side, and then you run out of the middle and one team will gain the advantage. Yeah. And then that team attempts to keep the other group locked in their spawning room.
This just sounds so crazy to me. I mean, I was talking to you about this earlier and I asked what's the win condition? And you said
there is no win condition.
Here's the win condition. who doesn't quit? That's the only way to win this one. It's
I wonder what Duel Duel 1 was like.
only one respawn room.
Yeah.
They figured
Everyone
there was
spawns in the same room, and
But
pyros go crazy.
Brent and I actually played in this for a little while, and they're actually you actually do develop some strategy, and I recommend everybody try it at least once. If nothing better, what it does is it gets your kill numbers up for the class.
Yeah.
You know, like I love Demo Man, but my previous record was 7. Now I'm up to 11. Yes.
Nice.
But anyway, what happens is you if you finally do come free from your room, which is an experience, and we'll describe that in just one second. If you do come free from your room, your goal is to lock the other team down in their room, and so you'll actually have players respawn as certain classes. Like getting out of your room, a pyro is worthless.
Yeah.
But keeping other people in their room, the pyro is great. Coming out of your room, an engineer is worthless. But once you get them stuck in their room, you build sentries around, and it helps.
Yeah.
Can I tell you why this sounds absolutely terrible to me? I played a lot of Team Fortress Classic too, and one of the big differences between Team Fortress Classic and Team Fortress 2 is in TFC, all of the classes had 2 grenade types.
Yes, I love grenades.
And a big problem, and I know a lot of the old Team Fortress original fanatics hate that I'm going to say this, but the grenades were a big problem, and grenade spam was a big problem. Well, on one map that has made the transition from TFC to TF2, which is Dust Bowl, there's an entry point where basically the attacking team has to go through this little tunnel to get out. And in Team Fortress Classic, literally you would spend 15 minutes ramming your head against grenades. And that's what this sounds like to me.
It's exactly
sounds like
what
you
it's like.
come out of a room and die.
Yes.
And then you come out of the room and you die.
Most of the time, you don't even get out of the room before you die.
You see,
Yeah.
that doesn't sound fun to me.
It actually is. And the problem is that you're here against this wave of death. And what you do then is literally someone will finally go, okay, medics and Ubers, nobody else. I mean, medics and heavies.
Yeah.
And what happens is you spend the next, 2 minutes making sure that every medic in the room has an Uber and that everyone has a
So
corresponding
what,
heavy.
you get like one guy to play a soldier and hit himself with
That happens.
rockets over and over again?
Yeah, we'll discuss that in our dossier segment. Anyway,
There's actually enough people going too close to the entrance and opening the door that people are still getting hit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was kind of interesting to have 3 heavies all Ubered walking out of a door at the same time, full bore. It's just like, okay, that's damage. And then you get it out of the room, and then it's like, okay, now let's lock them into our room. And these 3 heavies with the 3 medics aren't as good as having the demo man and the pyros and the engineers there. So it's kind of like this quick switch, to the next class, and hopefully you're doing it, talking to people so people aren't all like, all pyros now. Damn.
Yeah.
Huh.
okay. So, and what else did you do with your week?
Oh, I guess the rest of it was spent playing Portal. Now, I kind of screwed up because I wasn't logged into Steam when I played Portal. So after finishing it, it showed that I still had like 1 hour, playtime in Portal and none of the achievements or anything. So I was a little annoyed at that, but it was still such a fun game.
You know what? I've heard, and maybe you can tell me for sure. I've heard that the cake is a lie.
No, you should definitely go try some cake.
Oh, okay.
The cake is delicious.
Delicious and moist.
So, moving on.
All right. So this week, what I've been doing is I've been building maps. I've made maps for lots and lots of different first-person shooter games, and I love making maps. And I have a series called Fort Nailhead. If you do a search, I've done a series of these forts. They're CTF and kind of domination maps that I've made for Soldier of Fortune 2, Quake, Unreal, a lot of different things, even back to, with Blood, Shadow Warrior, and Duke Nukem and stuff like that.
Wow, Shadow Warrior.
Yeah, so I've taken these. These are the ones I put the most work into, and I upgrade them and I port them over to new platforms as a new good game comes out. So now I'm taking a BSP that I made for SOF2, Soldier of Fortune 2, and I'm trying to work with Hammer, which is basically Well, it's the editor for Half-Life 2, but it's a derivative of World Builder, so it's easy to work with. I mean, I opened it up and it's World Builder pretty much.
Now, and those were the same tools you used with the first Team Fortress maps, right? Because those names,
yes.
as soon as you said them, I was like, wait, those are what I used to mess with maps with way back then. So that's cool.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. So I've been doing that, and it's a lot of hacking because there's no SDK right now for TF2. I'm working with the SDK for Half-Life 2, so I had to extract all the textures and models and import them into a mod that I created for Half-Life 2 just to create a map, and it's a lot of crap, and it doesn't work very well. So I'm kind of struggling through this, but
Well, once they release the SDK, I mean, it should be.
then it's going to be great.
Yeah.
But see, I just don't want to wait. And I'm like, I can do it. Other people have done it. I can do it. So
I remember I played Fort Nailhead and Soldier of Fortune 2.
Oh, okay.
I think that's
Nice.
the only Soldier of Fortune 2 I ever played.
Really?
I tried to play it, but
Oh,
just,
that's cool. So I've had fun doing that. Also, I play on 2 servers, really. I have 2 favorite servers, and they're custom servers, or custom map servers. Those are my favorites. I like the built-in maps, but I like to be surprised. I like to play new things, and that's part of the fun of TF2 for me.
Hey, you should try Duel Duel too.
Oh God, and that's a surprise, right? I'm sure it's not really fun for a long time, but for that 5 minute or 10 or how long did you withstand that map?
I want probably a good hour. I don't know. It's like Team Fortress. I lose track of time.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna hop in for 20 minutes, and then 4:00 in the morning, I'm like, damn, I'm gonna be late for work, and I have no clue it's been that long.
That's funny. But I guess my favorite is engineer. I have the most time logged on him, and I guess as far as an offensive class, I like the pyro the best. And then as a hybrid kind of a weird class, I like the spy. So I guess those are my top 3 there.
See, and what's odd is I'm kind of completely opposite in that I like pyro as a defensive class.
yeah,
more.
I
love
agree.
it.
I think that the pyro is misclassed as an offense class.
It's like especially when it's like spy heavy. Oh, I get that pyro out right away, and I'm just on defense spraying, and looking for
there is
dispenser.
no class. We'll get all to this, but once the entire other team is on a control point, there is no class that can break it up like a pyro, and that's straight defense. But
Yeah, that's true.
That's just
I guess
my
I'm
opinion.
misusing.
What
the,
do you mean
pyro.
straight? If you're trying to get somebody off of a control point.
off of one of your control points.
Oh,
is what I'm
okay.
saying.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I guess if it's someone else's, it could be.
He's
whatever.
an all-around awesome class, and I don't want you talking about him like that.
No, I'm a big pyro fan. I've probably logged more in pyro than 3 or 4 other classes.
Okay, so Wes, what did you do this week?
Well, my favorite classes, I'm a huge Demo Man fan. I've wanted from moment one. I love indirect fire. And plus, something about knowing that the enemy is on the other side of that wall and I can throw things over it makes me happy. Something about the possibility that I'm screwing with someone I can't even see pleases me deep inside.
So that's kind of like the opposite of a sniper. I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Instead of doing direct aim, it's just kind of like maybe there's something over there and I'm screwing it up.
And that's why I hate Demo Man.
I know. My second class is medic, and we're going to talk about medics later in our dossier segment. However, what I've been working on really hard this week is paying attention to what's making up the team at any given moment in time. So if we're on a map, say we're on, we're doing hydro and, we're fighting point for point. If I look and don't see the kind of classes that we need to defend that, like if there is no medic, no matter what I'm doing, I'll jump over and make a medic. If there's no demo man, I'll jump over and make a demo man. I try to pay attention to what's going on, and my hours are still severely screwed. What's the word I'm looking for? Skewed.
Skewed.
That's the consonant I want. Anyway, and I'm really heavy on medic and demo man, but I'm working really hard not to allow our team to fall back just because I prefer those classes.
Right.
And it's been kind of interesting. The only class I really won't choose to jump into is spy, just because I don't feel competent. It's not where I want to be, and I don't like running backwards. So, anyway, that's what a good chunk of my week has been. I've been trying to jump in games with a lot of my friends and basically analyze the team makeup.
Well, I I'm kind of like Eric. I play on 2 servers primarily, but unlike him, I've stuck almost entirely with the default maps. I haven't gotten into the custom stuff yet. I would like to. It just hasn't happened yet. Generally speaking, as far as the classes that I like to play, I have to say that engineer is my top class just because it's what I spend the most time with. Probably because it's the easiest to stay alive and I get less frustrated that way. But it's not the class I enjoy playing the most. I switch between classes a lot. I've got a lot of soldier playtime, got a lot of heavy playtime, got a lot of medic playtime, got a lot of scout playtime. Those 5 are really my main classes.
5 out of
Everything
9.
except
Demo Man doesn't appeal to me very much. I played it a little bit today and I had fun. Spy doesn't do much for me. Pyro, I'm just starting to play and realize how easy it is to get a really high score very quickly with. And the other class, what is the other class?
Sniper.
Sniper. Yeah, I don't play Sniper.
And Scout. Did we say Scout?
I said Scout.
Okay.
Yeah, I play Scout. The easiest class to die with. But this week I think what I kind of figured out this week is one of the reasons I like the game is there's just such a wide skill level variation. I was talking to Wes about this earlier. I have found that on one of the servers I play, which has a lot of really good players on, I usually feel pretty good if I'm 3 or 4 up from the bottom. Yeah. If I manage to get 15 points in the course of a game, I'm like, yeah, I did pretty good. I'm not dead last. But then I was playing with another friend of mine on one of the servers he plays on, and he and I were trading off first and second place the whole time. So I know I don't suck that bad. And I just figure that's because there's such a wide range of skill levels that you can try and get to in this game.
It's you can see it the most on when you see a good spy in play. When you see somebody who's really playing a good spy, he can wipe out your whole team. Just wipe them out. Yeah. And then you'll get on another server and then there'll be somebody running straight towards you and you'll just go, because you know immediately just by looking at them that they're not a spy.
Yeah, that's why I don't play spies. That's what happens. I lack the subtlety.
But I agree.
Oh, I look like a soldier, so if I act like no, that's not how it works.
Yeah, I mean, we had a spy in a game we were playing last night that there were 2 engineers set up with, the full accompaniment of sentry guns, dispensers, teleporters, everything. Like I even had my teleporter exit just like right next to the door we were guarding, just as that kind of precursor, because for some reason spies love to hit anything, or anybody loves to hit anything that's right in front of them. And so it was like my pre-warning that would blow up.
I've seen that. I've seen a lot of people use. I think that's a good tactic.
Plus I think you get points when people use it.
The other day I was wondering
right away.
The other day I was wondering why I got on your teleporter and moved 5 feet away. I was so angry. I'm like, what was that for? No, I understand.
Well, the spy was so good. He would come in, blow up the teleporter, sap my gun, or my dispenser, my gun, the next guy's gun, and dispenser before we could kill him. And we're like all trying to get our guns and keep everything from exploding as he's trying to get out with the flag.
I got to say, we're going to try and talk about a different class primarily with each show. I do not look forward to the spy show because that means I'm going to have to try and play a spy.
Yeah, well, I got some good tips for it.
And I think that'll be a great thing too. Is like he's talking about each show, we're going to kind of pick a class and really detail it for that show, and then later we'll come back and talk about each class some more. But I guess those weeks we'll play that class as much as we can that week before and really get some extra experience in that class.
Yeah.
But first, let's do On the Loudspeaker. And this is news and discussion about what's going on this week with the game. And we'll have some tips in here, usually, and we'll talk about what's been going on. First off, there was a new patch with some added features. Did anyone else read up on that besides me?
I sort of glazed over it with a blank expression on my face.
that well, 80% of the notes or something you should glaze.
Yeah, I pretty much glazed over everything. The only thing that I saw that I think Eric also pointed out was that they added the numbers back above each class that's actually in at the time, so you don't have to count the numbers.
Yeah, I was really glad to see that. It freaked me out. This is something that you might want to keep in mind. It does not include you.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
It freaked me out. What do you mean there's no soldiers? I'm a soldier. Oh, okay.
I didn't realize that.
The one thing that I noticed was that now engineering buildings will explode when the engineer dies during sudden death. And I never knew there was a problem with that.
Oh, my God. That was a huge problem.
And I was like, really? They weren't killing the buildings? No way.
Well, the thing that killed me about sudden death is I didn't realize you couldn't go back in and get more ammo.
Oh, my God. I've watched so many people
right.
during sudden death, because I die very quickly in sudden death. I'm terrible at sudden death. So I just watch people play, and how many times I've seen someone walk up and bump into that doorway trying to get in over and over again
awesome.
before they get stabbed by a spy.
And what really sucks is if you're an engineer and you make your gun before your dispenser.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then you're like, somebody kill somebody.
Yeah.
And that's something, actually, that's part of my strategy. As soon as I see sudden death, I either switch to medic or an engineer. That's something. Okay, first off, do we want to do some tips?
Sure. Tips sound like a great idea.
Okay, well, that's good. What do you got for the first one there, Britt?
Well, first, this week we're going to be talking about the medic.
Well, wait,
primarily.
we're still on the loudspeaker.
Forgive me.
We're going to be kind of working with our format as we move, so please forgive us, because I know I'm already going to mess it up a whole bunch. Anyway, we've got a tip in here about jumping. I don't know. This may be a pretty simple tip that everybody knows already. I didn't know it until the other day, but you can actually jump higher if you do a quick crouch right before you jump. And this will help you as in rocket jumping, or if there's what's the one with the
train tracks? Is that what you're talking about? I don't.
No,
sticky
it's
bomb
the water.
jumping?
It's the sewer, big long sewer pipe. Oh man. Anyway,
That's in Two Forts.
Fort?
Yeah.
no, I can't.
Okay,
do the name
I don't
of
know
it. It's
what you're talking
outside.
about.
Okay, I'm going to describe it real quick. See who can get it the fastest. Okay, it's outside. It's control point or briefcase. I've seen it both. You each start at one end of this long, basically big hallway, but it's outdoors. There's a big hump in the center. That should be it. There's two platform. Yeah, see, it's hitting you.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a waterway
it's a custom map. No,
it's a custom.
it's a custom map, and I can't remember
But
it.
I play it all the time, so it's like
I
one that.
know, and I hate it when you're in that map. And
Oh, I love that
Is
map.
it castles or?
But anyway, there's a place where there's a big tank on the side of the wall, and as a scout, you can double jump and just almost get up there. Well, if you do the crouch jump, you can get up there, and that's how you get on the top row and run down it.
So you have to tap,
Go ahead.
You have to tap crouch real quick, like tap, crouch jump. Crouch
If
jump.
you hold crouch down, it's not going to work. You got to kind of.
Okay.
On the, I can't remember, but on the default map, non-custom map, that has the train tracks on it. I can't remember the name of the map off the top of my head.
The train tracks?
Oh, I know what you're talking. That's granary, right?
That is granary.
Granary, yeah. Scouts can actually jump up to the second level platform using that method, and what that gives your team more levels of attack on that first control point.
Yeah.
In addition, soldiers, of course, can rocket jump up there.
Yeah.
So I see a lot of that.
That and I guess demo jumpers can even use it and save sticky bombs. Instead of using two, just use one to get all the way across some maps.
Huh.
Okay, Spencer, do you want to do the second tip?
Yeah, apparently you can. An engineer can build a dispenser and use it to access higher places.
This is a ladder.
Yeah, this is something that I've tried to do it, actually. It was one of the first things I tried to do, and I couldn't manage it. I couldn't get on top of the dispenser. So is there some trick to getting on top of the dispenser?
Hey,
Before it's built, right? And then it raises you up.
Yeah, what you do is when you put the,
Like an
if
elevator?
you've noticed,
Yeah.
what's the map with A, B, and C? And you start off, and one team defends, one captures
Gravel?
gravel pit.
Yeah.
If you notice, when you're waiting to attack, sometimes people get up in those holes. A lot of times it's Demo Man, but every once in a while you'll get a sentry gun up there on that door before you come out of it. Well, what they do is they put they start making the dispenser, and before it raises up, they hop on top, and then it raises them up enough that they can then jump on top.
I never thought of that.
Build up there. And I've tried it and couldn't master it, but it looked possible. But I wasn't the engineer at the time. It was actually some other engineer's dispenser I was trying it off of.
Nice.
Okay.
That's pretty cool.
You want to read one there?
Let's see here. Let's see. I'm reading this tip here. Know your team. If you're defending, know who you're defending, who is defending with you, what class they are, and don't be afraid to plug them as a spy check. What does that even mean?
Shoot them.
That means that if you know that you're defending with a heavy weapons guy and all of a sudden there's a frickin' spy, that wouldn't make any sense.
Right.
All of a sudden there's an engineer standing next to you, shoot him in the face with a shotgun.
Yeah, and the thing is, if you see a heavy walking real fast, or a
spy
scout walking really slow, then you
yeah.
know what's going on. But yeah, I've been an engineer, and I'll see another engineer next to me, and I get to know his name because we're both defending. We both have sentries. We're looking after each other. A spy comes along, or a pyro comes along, and he's standing next to my sentry gun. I'm like, this isn't suspicious or anything, and I kill him. Or my friend, the engineer over here, will die, from whatever. And then all of a sudden the spy will come in as a new engineer, but with a different name. I'm like, no, I don't know about that. I'll shoot him in the head.
I got to say, one thing that I have a feeling we're going to talk about a lot in the course of this podcast is ways to detect an enemy spy.
There is nothing that angers me more.
I hate spies. Oh my God.
I think that goes pretty much for everyone who's not a spy.
Yeah, everyone who is not a spy. I mean, I have to admit, every once in a while, a spy on my team does something great, and I have to go, okay, we couldn't have done that unless you were playing a spy. And then, I have to applaud in my head while still deriding the fact that he's a spy. But everyone who's not a spy hates spies because everyone has a strategy, everyone has a plan, they're sticking to it, and it doesn't involve getting stabbed in the back.
That's a good point. Good. As a matter of fact, our last tip for On the Loudspeaker, if a team is spy heavy, go pyro. The easiest thing to do is get near your closest ammo dispenser. They're going to come and try to sap it. And anyone who comes to the dispenser, just pop them in the face with some fire.
Sometimes even if you don't think the other team is spy heavy, if you have a lot of engineers on your team and you have a line of engineer equipment, I've seen pyros just walk the line, basically. Walk back and forth and shoot everyone that they see. If they catch on fire, keep shooting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on. We're going to move on to our dossier segment. In this week's dossier segment, we are going to cover the medic.
The medic is the main support class. Previous support classes we've designed had a variety of problems. They didn't require much skill because they stayed back in defended areas, which also kept them out of the funnest parts of the game. Worst of all, this meant they weren't even terribly useful, because they generally weren't near the players who most needed to be healed. We designed the Team Fortress 2 medic to solve these problems, primarily by focusing on keeping them right in the thick of battle. Additionally, we designed the medigun to be as easy to use as possible, so that medics can focus on survival while healing teammates. Virtually no aiming is required, which lets medics concentrate on following their heal target, who has a huge incentive to keep his medic benefactor safe.
Just to let you know a little bit about the medic. And the reason we've chosen this one is because almost everyone here has spent a lot of time playing this character class. It's actually fairly easy to pick up. It has 150 health, which is a reasonable amount of health. I think the scout has 125, but it also is the second fastest class in the game. I just found that out tonight. I was completely unaware.
There is a sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you, but there is a little debate on whether it's pyro or medic. We've read in a couple places medic, but we've also read like a dev saying pyro. So we're still trying to figure that out completely.
It seems like the consensus is medic is the second fastest as of right now, but I'm thinking we're going to have a little foot race.
Yeah. I like the sound of that.
That is not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay. Anyway, the medic is equipped with 3 weapons. The first weapon is a bone saw. Actually, first weapon is the flechette gun. It is a syringe launching weapon.
Fully automatic syringe gun.
Yes, it launches. It has a clip of 40 syringes, and it will fire all of them in about 5 seconds.
And the damage decays with distance.
The damage. Well, as a matter of fact, I learned this. All weapons decay with distance. Even rocket launchers,
Except for sniper rifle.
except for sniper.
And there was
And
another
Demo
one.
Man.
Oh, Demo Man.
Yeah.
You're right. Okay.
But anyway, the syringes are affected by gravity. So as you shoot them, they will fall to the ground. So,
I only discovered that today.
so as you are attempting to kill something with your medic, which for the most part you should never try to do, if you're trying to kill something with your medic, always aim a little higher than you think you need to, because those shots are going to go down. The second weapon is your healing gun. It's fairly straightforward. You aim it at a party member within range, or a party member. Good Lord.
Wow.
Did I mention we do a World of WoW podcast that you can listen to at wow.deadworkers.com?
Anyway, so you pick a teammate and you just shoot the medical gun at the teammate, and it will put a beam in between you. It will heal damage that player has taken. Additionally, if you continue to go over their regular health amount, it will heal them up to 150% of their initial health. This means that you temporarily supercharge people with more health than they're typically sporting.
Our main goal in designing the medigun was to build a strong relationship between the medic and his healing target. We wanted to see what we would get if we focused on creating a tight loop between two players, instead of just thinking about getting the larger team to cooperate. The medigun's design ensures that the medic and his target are extremely conscious of each other, watching their health and relative positions and making tactical choices carefully. We wanted there to be skill involved in being a good healing target, so that medics would seek out and latch onto skilled targets. This helps foster the relationship we were after.
The last weapon is the bone saw, and I've heard a lot of debate about it. It is a close-up melee weapon, and some people say, oh, it does incredible amounts of damage. But from what I have actually read, it is typical for all melee weapons. They all do approximately the same damage.
That's what I thought. I mean, typically, if I'm playing a medic and I'm backed into a corner, the bone saw comes out, because it can do far more damage than the syringe gun, in my experience. I mean,
And it's so much easier to hit a scout with that.
Oh, yeah.
And
really,
they're just always bumping up past you and stuff. And
Well, and anytime you're bumping into anybody, you probably want to use that weapon. But I will pull out the syringe gun. Like, let's say I'm running somewhere and I see somebody either ahead of me or somebody who's chasing behind me. I'll turn around, run backwards, and I know I mentioned that I hate doing that, but I'll run backwards and shoot my little syringe gun at them, and it actually will do a surprising amount of damage. If you consider that each one does, I think, 5 points of damage, and is that right? Is that what I read?
potentially.
Anyway, you can do a large amount of damage in a short amount of time. I've taken heavies down just with the syringe gun.
Nice.
It can be done.
And if you can count to 4, you can take down a soldier too.
Yeah.
The soldiers only have 125 health, don't they? Less than the medic?
200, I believe.
No, soldiers have second most, I believe.
Yeah.
Or unless Demo
Really?
Man have this. I don't know.
I think soldiers probably have
Demo
most.
have
It's-
175.
it's 200.
Yeah, so soldiers do
Well-
have the second most.
We'll figure that out by that episode, I guess.
Okay, so some more weapon stuff. The medical gun also has another power. As you heal people, or as you supercharge people, like I've said, you start building up a slow bar in your bottom right hand corner. It's called the Uber charge, and once that bar is full, you will be able to use your class specific ability. Class specific abilities are activated using your right mouse key. In this particular case, you use an Uber charge, and what it does is it makes you invulnerable, and it makes whoever you are currently targeting invulnerable.
Whoever you are currently shooting.
For
Yes.
how long?
What is
I heard
it?
10 seconds.
No, I think it's like five.
Nowhere near
5 to 7.
Wikipedia says 10 seconds. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, maybe in the heat of battle it seems shorter.
Or no,
that
I
could be
believe
it.
it says for up to 10 seconds. So I don't know what that means.
Okay.
Is it random?
I think that there's a time element and there's a charge element, because as you shoot your healing ray and create the invulnerability field, your charge goes down. I also believe that after you activate your invulnerability, there's a time limit. Like you can't just activate it and then sit on invulnerability forever. You have to actually use it before it runs out.
Now, in the 10 seconds, I think you're thinking of the boost charge that you give people, the 150% of their health.
Overcharge?
When you fully charge someone and you stop healing them, it only lasts 10 seconds. Or I heard that it gets boosted.
You mean it decays within 10 seconds?
Right. So it's if you keep it on them, they stay up that health. I've also heard that they increase that time, so now you can actually switch between targets and get multiple people healed up, like right before you're about to charge.
I think I've noticed that too. That's kind of nice.
Yes.
Invulnerability adds an element of pacing to the multiplayer experience, which otherwise tends to have fewer emotional highs and lows than a well-crafted single-player game. When an invulnerable medic and his friends come running in, it's an extreme high point for them. It's also a rush for the defenders, who know that they've just got to hold on for 10 seconds until invulnerability fades. Invulnerability also sharpens pacing by helping a team push through a defensive stalemate when the enemy team turtles up and refuses to come out of their base. Without a lack of defensive skirmishers, it's easier for the offense to build up the invulnerability charge without interruption. In addition, invulnerability is a great goal for the medic and rewards him for being an effective healer. We encourage the behavior by adding more charge when the medic is healing injured teammates than when he's healing ones who are already at full health.
And another thing is you can turn your metagun off just by switching to a different weapon, and this basically saves your Uber charge. So if you've already Ubered a heavy, but then no one comes out, or you're like, ooh, wait, I need to wait and get up a little further.
Or your heavy's an idiot.
Yeah. Switch to another gun, and then you can wait till either you find someone else you want to Uber, or until you're in combat again, and then switch back to your metagun, and the Uber will come back on.
Well, that seems totally counterintuitive, and I will have to try that.
Yeah, I agree.
It used to not be true, so it may go away.
Another interesting little bit of trivia with Ubering someone is you can, let's say you're next to two people. You can Uber, when you hit Uber, you can target one person, then you can switch targets, and if you keep switching back and forth with your healing weapon, you can give them, it is possible to actually have them both invulnerable, because there's a little bit of a phase down in between, after the invulnerability goes away. It stays on you for a second and then it fades. So if you do it fast and do it well, you can keep more than one person Ubered.
That sounds, it sounds like possible in laboratory conditions, but once you're out, you're having rockets and fire and syringes flying towards you. I mean, I think it would be kind of hard to, hey, if you can do it.
I've never said I've done it. I've just said you can.
I'm not saying, I meant the Imperial you. You out there can do it.
The archetype of me.
Then I have someone that I want to play with.
Okay, so let's.
So the meta guide. I like the fact that you don't have to be in LOS.
No, that's true. I mean, you have to be within line of sight, but you don't have to be looking at them.
Right. And actually, that's
around the corner.
No. As soon as somebody steps around the corner, your beam is going to die.
And there's
a threshold though, because it'll bend.
It does bend a little bit,
snaps,
but you still have to. You have to keep them within sight, or else it's going to die.
Because I think there's actually a difference between line of sight and I'm doing this with my hand, so it's completely pointless. But what you actually see is not actually line of sight as you know it. It actually incorporates like your full body. Because I don't know if you've ever noticed, if you've been like trying to sneak around a corner and then somehow you like get hit by the sniper and you're like, how did I get hit by that sniper? And it's because actually, I guess your line of sight is smaller than your body.
Yes.
So then they can hit you before you can actually see around that corner.
So you say that so long as your body has line of sight with someone else, you can keep the healing gun going?
Probably whether the tip of your gun has line of sight.
Okay.
Yes, that's probably more likely.
That makes sense.
Okay.
And by the way, an important strategy when using the healing gun, you do not want to just, of course you want to, the easiest way to do it is, let's say you're going through a doorway and you've got an Uber and a heavy. Started calling them Ubers because I Uber heavy so much.
Because every other one is like, no, it's a waste. I'm not Ubering you.
I know. So anyway.
Are you Uber worthy?
So,
I'm not sure that's true.
Anyway, so you've got a heavy and you're targeting him and you're keeping him healed up and putting him at 150% of his health. So he's at 450 hits. and your goal is to get out of fire. You want to keep him healed up. You want to keep yourself from getting shot at. So you don't want to stand in the doorway. You're going to stand to one side of the door. Now, the healing gun allows you to turn whichever direction you want, because so your goal here is to put your back against the wall, because spies can kill you with their knife in one shot by stabbing you in the back.
Out in the open, when you are attached to another class, another good strategy is to, I know you hate walking backwards, but you keep the guy with the gun facing forwards and you watch the back and you see what's coming up behind you. Typically, if you're sticking to a heavy, you're the slowest thing on your team. So if something comes up behind you, generally you're going to have first knowledge of what it is. And if you have your back to the heavy, he can't stab you in the back.
Yeah.
That's a good point. One other thing to think about, I read about this today. I thought this was really fascinating. The physics on the syringe gun are fairly unique. There's only a couple of people that have to worry about gravity affecting their weapons. Now, let's say there's a sentry gun, and as soon as you walk out and try to deal with that sentry gun, it's going to shoot you and kill you. However, if you can get yourself into a position where it can't quite see you, but you can shoot up at just an angle, you can conceivably kill the sentry gun. And I've never done it. The Imperial me wants to do it. Anyway, you can conceivably kill a sentry gun with gravity assistance and it never have a chance to shoot you.
Oh.
That's some crazy stuff right
That's
there.
heavy.
A sentry gun killed by syringes.
So anyway, that's something that can be done. Also, one other thing is, in general, try when you're running through a battlefield. Let's say you're back at you're at a spawn point and you're trying to catch up. You want to heal all the time because everything's helping get your uber charge up. So even if you're just running next to a scout for 5 seconds while he hauls by you, you're helping your uber charge. Keep your healing gun going. And as you get closer to the battle, you might want to pull your syringe gun out so you can shoot anybody who might come at you. But in the meantime, while you're getting there, always keep your healing gun going so your uber charge gets boosted up. Additionally, anybody want to cover how to get your uber charge up at the beginning of a fight?
Oh, yeah.
Talk to a soldier or a demo man. Those are your best friends because they can do damage to themselves. I guess they're really the only ones that can damage themselves pre-battle like that. If they're not doing it already, because most of them just do it anyway because either they know or they just like to blow themselves up before the match.
So if you hear that medic before the fight even starts from a soldier or demo man, you know what they're trying to do.
And you found a friend.
Oh,
Latch
man.
onto those people.
That can backfire, though, because one thing that they did put in Team Fortress 2 is criticals. You can occasionally shoot a weapon that does, double damage or triple damage? It's an insane amount of damage. And you can always tell if there's blue sparks around the attack, whether or not it's critical or not. And actually, just yesterday, I was in a warm up time watching a soldier critical himself twice in a row, and the medic couldn't keep up, and he died.
So the goal, Brent,
is to if you're healing someone who's injured, you actually get uber faster. So that is the goal. And most of the maps where you are waiting to go, that's like a control point and you're waiting to attack, if they're doing that, you usually have enough time to get ubered before you start. And did I miss something on that?
No,
that helped. And the reason that helps out is on those levels, if you were attacking, typically you're just waiting to go out. Well, the defenders have all of this time to put up all kinds of crazy death outside. So
I like how you put that.
Crazy.
So if you have a medic or two medics that have Uber, you can break that initial defensive rush very quickly and easily, and that helps out a lot.
It's also important while you're moving through a occupied space, it's also very important to keep in mind who is attacking you. For instance, how you defend yourself against a soldier is going to be different than how you defend yourself against a spy. So let's say I have my healing gun on the heavy and I'm keeping him healed up, and there is a soldier over there, and I see him, and I know that he is going to try to kill me because all smart people kill the medic first.
Very important. Very important.
There's a Penny Arcade cartoon about it.
This guy.
So there's a soldier there. Well, my goal at that point in time is he's going to be shooting at me. And my goal is to take broad, sweeping movements from left to right to make sure that wherever his shot hits, it's not where I was a second ago, and I'm not going to take the splash damage. The stuff that I'm going to do for a sentry gun is going to be different than I'm going to do, for instance, if I'm trying to keep the heavy healed up and there's a sentry gun, I can't get in the field of sight of that thing. Now, a lot of times you can trick sentry guns into getting locked onto one target, but as a medic, even if for a second it breaks and shoots you, you're in trouble.
Now, the one thing about sentry guns and medics, which you should keep in mind, if you're Ubering a heavy or a pyro to get up close to a gun to destroy it, go in first once you're Ubered, because you will take that initial impact, the kickback from that, and let the other class get much closer, much faster. Otherwise, they will be at pretty much the furthest range. They're going to be shooting and doing a lot less damage than if they get up close. So go ahead and run in and take that initial impact.
Because even Ubered, they're going to be hit by the knockback, and I've been held in place by a sentry gun that was just peppering me.
And remember, if you are shadowing a heavy, he's a pretty big guy, and you can hide behind him.
Use that control key.
Yeah.
Meat shield.
So let's talk about the strategy behind Ubering and what you think. When you're, let's say, Eric, let's say you're in a group and you're running forward and you have to pick your targets. What's your order of picking who you're going to be buddy with?
Let's see. Well, heavy being first. You're talking about me healing?
Yes.
Okay. Probably the heavy. At first, or the most damaged person.
Okay,
obviously.
Well, I mean, but let's give. I'm trying to develop a hierarchy here.
See, here's my hierarchy:
I see.
Heavy wep, soldier, needle gun. I'm not a good medic, but that's pretty much after soldier. I'm like, that's a waste of any medic gun. So then,
honestly, I have a hierarchy, but generally I pay more attention to who's killing more people. If I've got a heavy on my team and he's not a very good heavy, well, he's going to go out as a sacrificial lamb. I don't care. If I've got a soldier who's doing a lot of killing, he's my guy. Now, that said, I'll still pick the heavy first, all things being equal. Soldier second, and generally, after that, I'll go pyro. Maybe demo man, depending.
I actually put Demo Man above Pyro.
Oh, whatever. That's just because you play Demo Man.
No.
I put them all on the same level.
It has to do with who I think can deal the most damage to the other side. In general, if I'm getting down to my Demo Man, it's because there are no soldiers or heavies around, which means that if an attacking force comes in, we're probably going to be in trouble. So my goal is to pick the person who will hold the people off long enough for the for the heavies and the soldiers to come in. People are terrified of grenades. If you start laying them down on the ground, people will back up away from them rather than walk over them.
Can I tell you why I put the pyro higher?
Why?
Because the Demo Man has built in more survivability than the pyro does. The pyro does more damage the closer he is to his target.
Right.
So...
Agreed. But in general, and I'll say this, if I'm at really close range, like if all we've got to do is run around a corner and kill something, then I'll pick the pyro. But otherwise, I'm going to go demo over pyro.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I guess I never really have that issue. You know what I mean? It's like I'm usually healing whoever's there.
Yeah, there generally is always a heavy or a soldier just standing around. So this third tier choice really usually doesn't come up.
Yeah,
but tonight when I play, because I am going to play as soon as we're doing this,
I'm going to play.
I'm going to be healing, and all of a sudden it's going to be like a Demo Man and a pyro are going to be the only two people there. Going to be like, who the frack do I heal?
Yeah, I was going to say I
can't remember who they said. They both had good arguments.
I was going to say, I think naturally I'll heal the person who's surrounded by the most enemies. But there's an exception.
Now,
there's
I have to say, go on.
Oh, the exception is spy,
Don't
or
spy.
I don't know, maybe an engineer, because they probably have agendas that are run away and not stay in battle. And if I'm standing around healing him as he runs away from the enemy, I'm just wasting my time.
If you heal a spy, you just blew their cover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I learned that first day. I was healing some spy just thinking, oh, I'm helping this guy out. And he's like, please quit healing me.
Yeah.
They're going to know I'm a spy.
Wow. He said, please. That was a really polite guy.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, when I started off playing my medic, I was having a great time. And then all of a sudden there was this massive influx of spies. And for a little while I was dealing, and so people would run straight at me and go, medic! And I was, the benevolent healer, and I'm like, okay, do. And I'm not kidding you. I got killed by more people I just healed.
One thing I really think we ought to link is the, FYI, I'm a spy video.
We can link that.
I can't really describe it well,
awesome.
but
it's a bad day for a medic.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so I got to the point where I would shoot everyone that came at me. Anyone who was hurt, I would shoot them already. And I got people on the headsets going, "What are you doing? Quit attacking me!" And I'm like, "You don't understand. It's been rough. It's been a bad week." because for a long time I couldn't get anyone to come at me and shout medic that wasn't a spy. And so I just started going tick 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 tick. So anyway,
I can't count the number of times I've hit a guy with the bone saw that just wanted some love.
So we might have
bone saw test.
We might have a couple more points, but one other thing that I need to mention is the healer does have some passive healing, and this is something that most people don't know. There are 2 to 3 points per second that the healer, for just being a healer, will heal. So
regeneration.
Yes.
I like that.
One thing I'd like to say about the medic in general is, along with the engineer, the medic is a good class to play if you're not really that great at shooting people.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can still make an impact for your team without, shooting people.
Right.
Yeah.
Same
and
with the engineer, I guess.
There's another thing that's it's kind of odd about playing the healer class. It's actually a class that it's good for everybody to know how to play, just because you need to know how to position yourself when you're being healed.
Agreed.
You don't, it's like I've seen so many heavies that I'll just start healing. They're like, oh, full board, let's go up here. And I'm like, no, I want to stay around this corner. You stay in that corner until you clear it out. Yes. Then you move up, give me another safe spot to sit, and then you clear out the next point. But
it really does help if you, especially when you're talking about using your Ubercharge, if the person you're going to use it on understands what it means.
Yes.
Not just, what it means. I'm sure we've all run into a situation before where we activate the Ubercharge on a heavy and he turns around and looks at you for 5 seconds. You're like, what are you doing, man? I'm also talking about when is a good time for you to use it and when is a good time for them to advance expecting you to use it. The medic says, I am fully charged when he is fully charged. So you should always pay attention to that.
And if you hear that from the medic who's healing you, you should, if you see a situation, for instance, a lot of times right after I say that, like if I'm with a soldier, he'll just start charging forward. And that's because that's a good soldier who's like, okay, I see a moment, I'm going to take it. And then you grab it. Now, one thing I will do is I will save the Ubercharge for the moment I see the first shot hitting my opponent. We'll charge forward, and let's say we don't necessarily see anybody. I'll wait a second. I would rather us take a little bit of damage and have that extra half a second to a second to use the Uber rather than just go ahead and use it right when we go around the corner.
Because you usually have time. You're still healing them. It's not like you stopped healing them.
I was going to ask. The Ubercharge doesn't stop the healing gun from actually healing, does it?
No. You continue to heal until forever. You never stop healing.
Oh,
unless you let go of the trigger
or die.
Oh yeah, that too. Or they die.
Well, I'm sad now.
And we have lots of tips to give, and we have a big document with lots of tips, so we'll probably miss some, and we will put them all in the show notes. We might even make a medic-centric page just to put them all there for you that we can add to and talk about later as well.
Yeah, and if we missed something, or if there's something not in our show notes, feel free to let us know.
Yeah, you can do that in the comments, or you can call us, which you can hear in the outro.
Yes. So let's go on to surveillance. We had one piece of machinima that we saw this week.
Yeah. Ignis Solis. And this is by Lit Fuse Films. And it is awesome. It's, what is it, Latin for burn alone?
Burn alone.
Is it Latin? I think it's Latin.
Latin or French?
It's Latin.
Latin or French?
Both. No,
Or
it had,
it's Latin.
For some reason, I got the impression that the guy who made it was French. I know he talks French in it somewhere.
well, a
No,
scout
I
says
thought it was
something.
German.
A scout says something. It sounds like Japanese. So I
Holy
don't know.
crap! None of us know. Wes, what language did you think it was?
Orc.
Orcish.
Did I mention we do a podcast called World of Wow? Wow.
I think that's the second time, actually.
Loktar.
Okay, so this piece of work, it's a couple minutes long. Actually, it's kind of long, huh? It's
Yeah, it's about
8 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's a story, sort of. It's got original music, and it's filmed extremely well. And it's kind of a sad piece. I kind of feel sad when I watch it.
Yeah.
I've seen it probably about 5 times.
All of their machinima are a little sad.
Yeah,
I
they
think.
are. Yeah.
What's really great is that the engine is used really, really well. There's nothing special here. There's nothing, edited from model viewers or anything like that.
Right.
It's all in-game footage, but it's filmed in such high quality. I mean, it looks like a piece of animation.
And
looks really good.
A lot of that is the responsibility of Valve. They've made just an absolutely gorgeous game with great animations and great voice work in the game, because that's except for that one little bit of the language that we cannot name. All of the voice work is used from Team Fortress 2, and it works really well.
What language was it? It must not be named.
But so that was a great piece of work. We're gonna link that for sure on the show notes. And as far as I know, that's the first piece of machinima for TF2.
Our first quality piece.
Yeah, first of all, because there's been a couple other pieces that I think there's actually a series. It may be more Half-Life 2 centric.
Okay.
But it's kind of like a Office Space meets Team Fortress.
I'm really looking forward to seeing what people can do when they mix Team Fortress 2 with Gary's mod. I think a lot of cool things can result from that.
Yeah, I agree. I'm definitely going to try that out. In fact, I kind of want to do some TF2 versus WoW movies.
Oh, man.
But we'll see. I don't know.
It all depends what level your pyro is.
So red will be the Horde. And blue will be the Alliance.
The Nixia Pyro combo. Yeah.
I already see you come out of the base and there's the big Horde. Anyway.
See, I'm actually...
Did I mention we do a podcast?
kind of getting off subject here a little bit, but there are a lot of game types that didn't make it over from the original Team Fortress that had more colored teams. Like, I think there was red, blue, green, and yellow. I'm looking forward to seeing some of that stuff come back too.
444. I would like to see someone port that over. That was a pretty cool map.
Yeah.
I mean, it was dangerous, but and see, I miss the grenades. I know the nail grenades, or the frag grenades.
I miss the grenades too.
My concussion grenades.
Yeah, you see, I miss them too. I miss them in the same way that I miss chocolate when I'm on a diet. It's bad for you. The grenades were fun, but they really did limit the game to the point where a lot of people that weren't playing the game couldn't get into it because they wouldn't know why they would die, because all of a sudden there were 40 grenades thrown at their feet. And
I can see how it would be limiting to people who just started.
Mm-hmm. And that actually was a discussion. If you take the time to go into the designer commentary that's in the game, you can go through a few walking levels and learn a lot about what they did when they were designing the game. And talking about removing the grenades is one of the points they bring up, that the game ended up being all about grenades.
Yeah.
And it wasn't as much, and they've worked really hard to make it so that the powers are class specific.
And they want every class to play, feel, and look different. And grenades didn't help that. It hurt it. because everyone was always tossing grenades around.
And obviously that's why they changed the medic too, because the medic was really
the
just
medic
a
was
spy,
an offensive class.
I mean, a scout.
The medic was a complete offensive class.
Yeah,
before.
and it was an awesome.
It really was
offensive.
The plague.
The reason the medic was the offensive class because it had a double barrel shotgun, did lots of damage.
The railgun did good damage
yeah,
too.
It did.
It was awesome.
It had regen, just like it still does. It constantly regenerated health, and it could concussion jump all the way across a map at any point with absolutely no problems. I've got the flag. Oh, now I've returned the flag. Wow, that was easy.
I actually went Halloween not a few years ago. Man, this is probably, I guess, been more like 10 years ago or something as a medic.
Nice.
I'm thinking about that for this Halloween.
There's some awesome pictures out there that Valve has them up on their site, I think, right now. We'll find them and we'll put them up in the show notes of people. There's one group that did the entire team.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah,
nice.
and they look great. The biggest guy is the heavy, and they've got this
awesome.
little skinny anorexic chick who's playing the scout. It's really good. Good stuff.
Okay. Well, that was a great podcast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought it was really good. I learned a lot of stuff.
Just to let you know, we're up on iTunes, and we'd really love to have some comments on iTunes.
That'd be great.
You can call and leave us a voicemail. Our phone number is 256-513-4772. We have a Steam group called Control Point. We'd love to have you join our group, and we'd love to get some big battles together. So be sure to get in touch with us and let us know that you want to join.
Yeah, add us on your Steam. If you don't remember, just rewind this episode and listen to the very beginning of it. Oh, no, the first episode has all of our names on there.
Mm-hmm.
So add us.
And, of course, all of this will be up on the website as well. So,
yes.
tf2.deadworkers.com.
Amen.
Till next week, sirs and ma'ams.
I am fully charged.
You are now at the end of another episode of Control Point.
Victory.
Every one of you deserves a medal!
A podcast brought to you by the Dead Workers Party. See the show notes and leave comments for this episode at controlpoint.deadworkers.com or leave us a voicemail at area code 256-513-4772.
Auf Wiedersehen!